Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Goofy Rexy. I hope you guys are doing well today. So today we're going to be going through kind of a quick beginner's guide video. We're going to be talking about the best early game and early game characters and early game teams that you can use in this game. So you might be brand new to Marvel Strike Force, or you may be a couple months into the game. You know, there's definitely, a lot to take in here. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of, story nodes and campaigns that you have to worry about. There is arena, there's raids, and then later on, once you get to level 45, you do have war too as well to be concerned with. And you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I go about attacking all those things? So first and foremost, don't attack all of them at once. You want to take things kind of at a slow pace, but we're going to be going through kind of a quick, cheap to play beginner's guide here as to what teams that you can invest into. So I'm going to be talking about heroes, villains, cosmic, mystic, maybe a little bit of Nexus too as well, and then potentially, teams and characters that you can use in arena, early raid teams that will be good for you. Also, then we're definitely also going to be factoring in, getting legendaries. This game is about legendaries, so we want to make sure that we're focusing on looking at what you need in order to be able to get legendaries, too as well. And of course, another criteria, we're going to be looking at characters that are actually available to you in the early part of the game. So we're not going to be talking about characters that you have to spend on or not farmable. We're going to be talking about characters that you can actually get in the beginning part of the game. So thank you guys for being here. Let's cut the intro and let's go right on into it. All right, listen, y'all, we got the Guardians highlighted here. Seriously, Guardians. We're going to keep on beating it down your throat, or that actually doesn't make any sense, beating it down your throat. We're going to keep on beating something until you get it. The Guardians are the first team, the first recommended early game team that you should go after. Now, granted, right, the Guardians aren't really a good team until you actually get Star-Lord, so other than that, they're pretty much basically just a bunch of characters. But you want to be able to invest into the Guardians team, farm them, unlock them, farm them, get them to 5 stars so that you can actually unlock Star-Lord. So Star-Lord is a legendary character. If you don't know, legendary characters, they show up every 3 to 4 months or so. So you want to plan it out as soon as you start playing the game, or even if you're a couple months in and you haven't even targeted them yet, pivot. Target the Star-Lord so that you can use them. The Guardians team are a great team that you can use to complete the Heroes campaign. You can use the Guardians to complete the Cosmic campaign. You can use the Guardians in Arena. You can use the Guardians in U6 or Ultimates, period. You can use them all the way up until probably like U6 difficulty 2 or 3, right? Like that's where you're probably going to run into some issues, but once you, for the most part, U6 normal, U6.1, U6.2, you're gonna be able to use them, pretty well. They're also a team as well that you can use in Dark Dimension 1 so that you can get enough gear pieces to then level up characters so that you can then go into Dark Dimension 2. Star-Lord is a character that one of the main characters that you want to use in Dark Dimension 2. Seriously, the Guardians are the best early game team that you can target, right? So I get it. It's going to take you a little bit of a while. Rocket is hard to get. Rocket is in the raid store. It's very hard to get Rocket in the very beginning of the game if you're not getting enough raid credits, because it's 1,400 raid credits in order for you to be able to get Rocket. So if you can't get Rocket in the early part of the game, then swap them out. You can use Ravager characters. I would recommend using Yondu. Yondu is the best Ravager character that you can substitute in order to be able to get to 5 stars to unlock Star-Lord. Seriously, the Guardians are the best early game team. They're really good in a lot of different areas. They're going to help you. Like I said, Nexus campaign, Heroes campaign, Cosmic campaign, U6, U5, U4, whatever, Dark Dimension 1. Star-Lord is good in Dark Dimension 2. He feeds energy to Minerva, who's the main energy dealer for your Dark Dimension 2 team. Seriously, attack, go after the Guardians. Groot is going to be in Nexus 2-9. Mantis is in the Blitz store. Drax is in the Arena store. Gamora's in the Blitz store. So you might want to plan it out a little bit. But seriously, they're the best first team that you should target. But in the interim, I do have a team that you can use, while you're targeting the Guardians characters. I do have a team that you can use that can get you through some of the early part of the game. So I'm actually going to talk about that right now. So the team that I'm recommending would be the Shield team. If I haven't mentioned this before, by the way, please don't work on more than 5 characters at one time. You're going to be stretching yourself far too thin. Don't do it. Don't work on more than 5 characters at one time. Seriously, you're probably going to want to farm 3 characters to be able to get their shards, right? So you farm, and that's campaign nodes. You can do different things. If you with your Arena store credits, your raid credits, your war credits, you don't get access to war until level 45. Listen, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's slow down here. Don't work on more than 5 characters at one time. Farming 3 for shards. The fourth one you're probably putting gear into. You're leveling them up, and then probably your 5th character you're probably putting like T2 or T3 ability materials into them. Don't work on more than 5 characters at one time. You don't have enough resources. You don't. So don't do it. You're gonna frustrate yourself. Listen, I have done it. I had like 10 characters highlighted at once. What the hell was I doing? Don't work on more than 5 characters at one time. Seriously. All right. But another team that you can use in the interim is the Shield team. If you don't have access to the Guardians characters, you can't use them yet. You have access to the Shield team. Shield Medic, Shield Security, Shield Operative, Shield Trooper, Shield Assault. This is not a very good representation of that because I used I didn't really use the Shield team earlier on in my main account. I do have a little baby account, I call it, where it's a 1 million TCP roster. I've been playing that account now for about 5 months. I have my Shield team built up, a little bit more than I can show it to you. I have my Shield team built up just a little bit more. They're right here. I have my Shield team built up just a little bit more, and I use them a lot on my baby account. I use them a lot just to, to get through some of the early campaigns. I probably brought them up a little bit too high, level 60. I probably should have left them at 50, year tier 8, 5553 with their abilities. That's where I left their abilities at, but I probably should have not spent that much gold to bring them up and not spent that much gear to bring them to gear tier 10. But listen, they were good. They did what they needed to do for me. They were a very good early Heroes campaign team that I used. I used them a lot in Arena in the very early part of the game. They were good in raids too as well. I mean, they were also good in Greek raids, not just in use in the Ultimus raids, but they were good also as well in the Greek raids because they have the global tag too. So that was actually really, really helpful. There's a shield tag in the gamma raid, so they were really, really helpful for me. I'm happy that I invested into them. I used Quake with them. I got lucky. I used Quake. Quake is really good with clearing debuffs and clearing positive effects from the enemy team, slowing them down, and then also giving them offense down. So a really, really good unit, really, really good team that you can use, too as well. Just in case you don't have access to that Guardians team, the Shield team is also really good, with Nick Fury. The Shield team, Nick Fury, they're a great war defense team, I should say, sorry. And they're really good, in raids with Nick Fury too. So listen, another good investment, a good team that you can invest into, also. And then they also unlock Iron Man. And Iron Man, even though he's not a great character, he's a character that is the part of a great war offense team and a power armor team, and also could be a part of a war defense team and the Avengers team too. So you're not really going in a bad direction by investing into a character, investing into the Shield team either. They're gonna be good, later on for you. You might have a breaking point or stopping point, initially, but seriously, they're good, once you get, to the later part of the game, once you get Nick Fury with them. So don't invest in them too much until you get Nick Fury. All right, y'all. So the next team on the docket here is the Sinister Six team. So the Sinister Six team, they unlock two legendaries. That's 4. Sorry, guys. 2 legendaries, right? it doesn't make sense for you not to invest into this team. They unlock Shuri and they unlock Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman is great. She's great for Dark Dimension 2. She's great in Arena. She's relatively good in raids. Invisible Woman is a fantastic character. Shuri is great in raid. She's great. Also, you need her for Chaos Theory. If you want to be able to do the 5-star event for Chaos Theory, you need Shuri. So, it's a really, really good team for you to invest into early game. Obviously, simply because they unlock 2 legendaries. You want to get them the 5 stars in order for you to be able to unlock those legendaries. Mysterio is a tough one because he is in that raid store, so you're probably going to need to plan it out, right? In order for that to work for you. Once you're done, farming Rocket, then you go into Mysterio. Once you are done farming Drax, you can then farm Vulture. Vulture is in the Arena store. Once you're done with Mantis and Gamora, then you can farm Rhino. Rhino is in the Blitz store. The Villains campaign, to be very honest with you, you don't really need it until probably like later on in the game. So you don't really have to worry about it too much from that standpoint, but you definitely should start farming the Sinister Six team after you are done with the Guardians team. That would be my recommendation. The Sinister Six team is a great counter team to the Shield. Shield does have, they do a lot of heals. They're a long sustaining team. The Sinister Six team can actually mow them down rather quickly without Nick Fury, of course. Without Nick Fury, they can mow them down rather quickly. And also, they are a direct counter to the Defenders. A lot of players are going to be using the Defenders team in the very beginning part of the game. So you're going to have a direct counter team to the Defenders. You're going to have a team that can unlock 2 legendaries. 2 legendaries. So you're not going to be going wrong, by investing into this team at all. You don't need to invest into them high. You can bring them to like level 55, gear tier 9. As a matter of fact, I didn't even bring my Vultures to like gear tier 8, my Shockers to like gear tier 8, and they were able to do what I needed them to do. I was able to unlock a 7-star, Shuri. Well, using other characters, but Rhino, Goblin, and Mysterio were completely fine. Goblin 6. Vulture, Rhino, and Mysterio were very good in order for me to be able to unlock Shuri at 7 stars, and I used this team to unlock Invisible Woman at 6 stars too as well. So you don't really need a lot of investment, into this team. Another team that you can use in the early villains nodes are the AIM team. The AIM team is kind of hard though because Graviton is a character that you can farm in a war store, but you don't really get access to war until you reach level 45. So him as a viable option for you to be able to farm is not really realistic. And using the AIM team without Graviton is kind of like a waste of time. So I definitely wouldn't even do that either. So they're a considerable team. They're better once you get towards the mid game part. Once you get Ultron, they're a much better team. Then they can function without Ultron, but with Ultron, they're a really, really good team. And of course, like this because the reason why they're not recommended early teams just because of the farms. AIM researchers in the Arena store, AIM monstrosities in the Blitz store, AIM security and AIM assault, they have their own nodes. And like I said, Graviton is in the war store. Scientist Supreme is actually kind of a later. I think she's in the Cosmic node, right? Cosmic 2-9. So you're probably not really going to be able to get to Cosmic that early either. So they're a decent team if you get lucky and unlock the characters, but not a team that you're gonna really gonna go after getting, you know what I mean? So make some alternative options there, but I think the Sinister Six team is really the best team that you want to use in this regard. All right, guys, so the last thing that we're going to discuss here is just the Mystic, campaign. Mystic campaign is going to be kind of a later campaign as well as the Cosmic campaign, but we already talked about a team that can take care of the Cosmic campaign for you. So when it comes to the Mystic campaign, the team that I used was Hela, Mordo, Loki, Thor, and then Juggernaut. Mordo and Hela have a relatively good synergy together because Mordo does or you can use them together because Mordo gives slows, he gives blinds, he gives heal blocks, so that does help when Hela can spread that. I actually use Hela and Mordo in arena, quite often, but you're not going to have access to Hela early. She's a late, chapter 7 farm node. So the team that I actually would really probably recommend would be more that's available, right? Mordo, Thor, Loki, Juggernaut, and then Ronan. All of those characters, Mordo, Thor, Juggernaut, Ronan, Loki, all of those characters are characters that you can use to unlock legendaries. Thor and Loki you can use to unlock Black Bolt. Juggernaut you can use to unlock Magneto. Mordo you can use to unlock Phoenix, and Ronan you can use to unlock Phoenix too as well. So these are good characters that you can invest into, that you can use in that Mystic campaign, that will yield tangible dividends as you move towards the latter part of the game. So not really going wrong there. But listen, those are kind of just my suggestions on early game teams, early game characters that you can use. It's up to you how you choose to do it. Early arena options could be CM, Loki, Drax. CM is kind of difficult to get, but sometimes you get her in the calendar, so that is an option. You're gonna kind of have to play around with arena a little bit to kind of figure out exactly what works for you. But listen, guys, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys found some useful information. Obviously, if you did, please hit that like button. Please also leave a comment too, so I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are, if you did like it or not, if you have your own suggestions too as well. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, guys, be blessed and be safe.